Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the FiveMarks Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Mr. Martin115, joined by my darling, lovely dance partner.
Hello, everybody. I am Garmo. Welcome back for another week.
Another week, the last week.
The last week. Thankfully, and we're hitting it off with a bang as well. I'm passing it back to you to let you.
What a fucking kiss ass.
I love it though.
It is December. It is Christmas time. It is our annual sit down with the one, the only, the real big beefy boy, Big Boots Murphy.
It's me. I'm back for like the fifth time.
But the first time on here, okay, other stuff doesn't count even though it's on the channel.
And to give a small exclusive, it is a lot warmer here doing this episode than it was when we did this episode last year.
Yeah, 100%. It's like, even though the cardigan felt really nice and was nice and cozy, it was. I would choose this very small room over the Hard Knocks gym.
Yeah, I choose
in the middle of winter, anyway.
Yeah, if we're going to keep to tradition, next year when we do this again, we have to do it in the Hard Knocks gym.
Yeah.
It's like one online, the next in person, one online. So tradition, lads.
Yeah,
it's like a fucking.
We're just going to find different gyms all over the country and just go to them.
Sounds
do a
good.
different episode each year.
Do School of Irish Wrestling next.
Yeah,
and Fight Factory the year after, 2 years after. Sounds good. I'm up for it.
At some point, we're going to end up inside your room doing the interview.
No, we'll switch rooms.
Yeah. Let's all go to each other's houses, and then we just turn up at Emmett's and just say nothing.
I'll just be in your gaff, like playing with all your trinkets and going, what? Oh yeah, I wrestle. Yeah. Cool, yeah.
Boots, put down that belt. Can't have it yet. It's not yours.
Yes.
Is the key word. It's the key word.
That is the keyest of words.
So, it's been a year since we last sat down and talked with you. How have things been with you?
It's a year that's gone by extremely fast for me. I started out this year with longer hair and a completely different mental state to where I am now with shorter hair and another mental state. So yeah, it's been a roller coaster of a year. I've leading up to this, I was like, I think I said this to you last year as well. I was a bit worried that I wouldn't have anything to talk about, but I tend to have things happen in the year of pro wrestling. So yeah, I've been good. How have you guys been in this last year?
Yeah, good.
Terrible. Having to do a podcast every week.
Yeah, it's been a long year.
Yeah.
Well, no, in fairness, we did get like 46 days of having no podcast.
We did, yeah.
Recorded, so that was a nice little break.
There you go.
That was a nice break. But yeah, good shows have been good. OTT are on fire at the moment. Hard Knocks still going pretty well.
Yeah.
Everywhere's kind of going really well. Which is actually kind of my first question for you. Which is obviously coming up on February 1st as a local rumble, but I want to go back to last year or this year's local rumble. What was it like being part of that? And I suppose being part of history, being a part of the first ever OTT rumble.
Yeah, I was funny behind the scenes story with that. Just out of the bat, I was announced for the rumble days prior, but leading up to it, I wasn't actually given a number. So some things had to be moved around. A tag team was formed, all to just fit me into the rumble. So yeah, and as well, I got to be number 3. So I was one of the first 3 people in the local rumble, which is it's just an honor. I've really, really happy. There was just a palpable buzz in the air that day. We had so many people, of course, because of the rumble helping out, and that show sold it was packed to the walls, if I remember correctly. People were really excited for that show, and the fact that it's in the National Stadium just shows how much of a historic success that show was. And it's a show. As a whole, I've gone back and watched twice. I've watched the Rumble like 4 times, by itself. It's and as well on a personal level when making that entrance at number 3 and having Doris and Omari in the ring, and probably getting one of the best reactions I've had for an entrance. I was taken aback, and I love watching that back, and as well, such a small thing, but being one of the Irish guys, Doris is like fantastic. He's a fantastic worker and a fantastic presence in wrestling, and that's why he's everywhere. But since the OTT fans, they respect me, when he started attacking me, they started booing, which is something that like I keep going back and I watch and I'm like, holy shit. Like, not that I'm like everybody's like darling wrestler, but like I'm one of the OTT lads, so if I'm being ganged up on, doesn't matter if you're a good guy or a bad guy, we want Boots to be on the up. So yeah, that was fantastic. Nearly smashed my face getting eliminated by Omari, but I didn't go out and watch the whole Rumble, but I stood behind the curtain and like listened to it. And just listening to it was like one of the best experiences I've had at a show in a while. I really don't know how we could ever top that. Like it was such a success. It was so good. I'm extremely nervous for the National Stadium version, and as well, like we might only have one. Either we have to get rid of a row, or we only have one side to eliminate people, unless everybody just gets dumped onto the fans. But yeah, is my mic sounding okay?
Your mic sounds
perfect. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm watching.
I think they did get rid of a row. I think it's only 2 rows for.
I think there's only 2 rows. Yeah, instead
Really?
of the first 3 rows.
2 rows. Yeah.
Sick. Okay, like that might sound like counterproductive, but the less seats around the ringside, the better. Because I know from like if I get eliminated, and here's touching wood that I don't, and I go all the way and I win the Rumble. If I do get eliminated, I know I'm going to be the one person absolutely clattering somebody in the front row with my boot, and causing many claims for Joe Cabret. So the fact that we're getting the fact that we're getting rid of the first row is a blessing.
No one's going to end up with a big Boots Murphy on their lap.
Well, some people might dream of that, which won't happen, unfortunately.
I will ask you this, right? If you were to take yourself as a fan, because I know you're obviously a big OTT fan from even before you started wrestling. And if we look at this year's local Rumble, the amount of returns that we had from people that we haven't seen in a couple of years and stuff like that. If you could see one person return at next year's local Rumble, who would you pick?
I always want to see Paddy Morrow wrestle. I miss the fact that he just doesn't wrestle. He's, as a fan, somebody that I enjoy watching so much. He's a fantastic wrestler. I would love to get somebody really fucking huge that has like been in OTT before, like a Matt Cardona, or who else could you get? Probably Eugene, maybe.
Yes.
Not that like I'm super excited about. I'm just like, oh, that would be a really cool surprise. Like he'll get a great pop. Scotty Too Hotty. Imagine.
That'd be sick. Yeah.
Oh my god, I would love to see his entrance at the Scrappermania from 2022, the first one back after the pandemic. His entrance was one of the best things of that night. When he was wrestling Sam, that was it was like played like 7 minutes or something like that. Turn it up for 7 minutes. But that I would lose my shit. I'd be in the ring going.
I was gonna change up the question a bit. Imagine it's the local Rumble. You're the only guy standing there. You're just like everyone else is down. If there was one person for, we'll say, young Boots to want to come out to stand in the ring with. Can't be Paddy Morrow, okay? He's dodged you twice now. He's come back twice and he's dodged you twice. Can't be Paddy Morrow.
Realistic answer, I'd say Joe Cabray. I'd love to stare him down. Man, if who would be great? I'm trying to think. I don't know. Scotty Too Hot. I would actually, now go with the easiest answer because I just already mentioned them. But like Scotty Too Hot, I'd love to be stood face to face with him and hear the aura like that he presents with the crowd. I think as a fan and as a wrestler, I'd be in that moment going, holy shit, this is really cool. This is really cool.
Yourself, you were lying there, about to take the worm.
Yeah, I think I'd take the best worm. I'd somehow spike bump off of it. I don't know. I'd find a way.
That's class. Look, to ask one final question kind of about the local rumble, and we'll kind of get into it more as we kind of talk later on about the year that OTT has had, but obviously the likes of Finn Balor, JD McDonough, excuse me, obviously in December that Lyra's coming over. Is there a chance, and I know it's on the same day as the Royal Rumble, so it's probably unlikely, and I know he's injured at the moment, but is there a chance that we get to see maybe a Celtic Warrior in the local Rumble against Boots?
I didn't know he was injured. Did he get injured at War Games?
He hurt his rib or something, or he broke a rib or something like that. I think
he can still eliminate people. He could still, he'd be fine.
It's like an old hurler injury. Just wrap him up. He's grand. Send him back out.
Sure, re-grand. Sheamus is like, I think not only for the National Stadium, I think we could sell out 3 Arena, Sheamus, Becky and Finn Balor, and we've kind of shown that we can get that talent in. Yeah. So if we could ever work with WWE, we could definitely, if not sell out the 3 Arena, sell out the floor of the 3 Arena, you know? But if Sheamus came out for the local Rumble, I would lose my shit. I can know for like 3 years in advance, but like as soon as he comes out, I'm like,
yeah.
It was the same effect with
sits in the crowd.
Yeah, it was the same effect with Finn Balor and JD McDonough. When they were in our school, it was like, okay, that's JD and Finn Balor. And then when they were walking backstage before the anniversary show, oh, that's JD McDonough and Finn Balor. Well, as soon as like the band started playing the trad version of the other side and they walked out, I probably didn't show it, but I was just like, oh, that's Finn Balor and JD McDonough. You know. So if Sheamus somehow, maybe it's a whole work, he's not actually injured, he's just preparing for the local Rumble, because that's definitely what Sheamus would do. If Sheamus popped out,
I want to ask you one question, because you brought up there the training session with Finn Balor and Jay McDonough. I don't remember, was it Shane or someone else I was talking to, but they were saying that they got that email that said, important training session, be there or tough shit. And I can't remember who I was talking to, but he just had that feeling that that's Jordan, that's Finn. Did that come into your head where you go, that's the boys and I have to get there?
So we got it a little bit different. We didn't get like an email or anything. We just got Joe being like, seminar on this day, please try and be there. And we're all like, yes, that's Balor.
That's the boys.
That's the boys. So like I knew going in, not like I didn't like have confirmation, but there was no doubt that it was going to be like Ogle Blanc or Michael Oku or whoever. So
hey, a Rene Dupree one can go.
That's who it was. Yeah, okay. I was trying to think of the WWE guy that was that was at the stadium. Yeah, it was probably going to be Rene Dupree seminar, and that would have been a great joke by Joe Cabray. But alas, he decided to give us something that we'll never forget, and
he
is the best thing.
Rene Dupree could have taught you how to do the French tickle, but instead,
there you go.
I guess settle for the Judgment Day.
For the Wexford Wiggle or something, I don't know.
I'll ask you, was there, without going into massive detail, was there one thing, and only one thing, that stuck with you in that you kind of have thrown into your own kind of wrestling mindset now?
Right. Time to be a narcissistic asshole. That seminar, and this is going to be very controversial, not really, but that seminar I learned probably the most about TV wrestling, how WWE wrestlers wrestle for TV, and nothing else. We have the best school in Europe for a reason. Joe Cabray was in WWE. Paddy Morrow was trained by Finn Balor. All these lads who are stalwarts of WWE started in Ireland, like Becky, Sheamus, and all that. So it's not very far. Their knowledge has to fall before it gets to us. It's literally Finn Balor, Paddy Morrow, us. Yeah. So everything that he talked about in that seminar, Paddy Morrow was just in Orlando going, Fergie said this, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to take that on board 3 months before he actually arrives in the school to tell us the exact same thing, I feel like it was not a disappointment at all. I'm not going to come out here and be like, yeah, I knew everything and I'm not impressed. No. We already knew that. It's essentially what that was reconfirming my belief in what style and what type of wrestling I enjoy and how I wrestle. A lot of what he said, I've said on this podcast before, and like it's been 2 years of being on this podcast, but it's not my own original thought. It's the thought of Joe Cabray, it's the thought of Paddy Morrow, it's the thought of John Cena, Hulk Hogan, Roman Reigns, Stone Cold Steve Austin. All these people that have shared their knowledge of professional wrestling on the internet, and it's right there for you to listen to and take. And for me, it didn't take Finn Balor to come to the school in flesh and tell me the exact same thing for me to absorb that information. So, again, I am so grateful and so thankful that we got that opportunity. It was fucking fantastic. Finn Balor is the man that got me back into professional wrestling back in 2015. So it was fucking amazing to sit there and listen to him talk for like 2.5 hours or whatever it was. And then also another interesting thing that he pointed out is Raw is like broken into segments, and I think there's 16 segments, and one of the most recent Raws up to that point, Finn Balor himself was on 8 of the 16 segments, so he was on exactly half of the show, and I think it was still 3 hours at that point. So for 1.5 hours, you saw Finn Balor on national or on worldwide television, and that's a guy from Bray, County Wicklow, Ireland, and he got there and is staying there and is in his position because of the philosophy of wrestling that has been taught to the likes of me, Key Noonan, Bittersweet Josh, and all the lads in Irish wrestling that go to the School of Irish Wrestling. His world, his mind of thinking and how he got to that position is what we're learning. And it's up to us to implement it, and I feel like I do. And it was fantastic, and I think I would just like Joe Cabray works miracles. Sometimes I don't know how the fuck he landed Balor and JD not only for the show but to come to the school. and obviously they wanted to give back, but it is just an honor to be in the school and be able to wrestle and learn from people who are teaching us how to be on 8 out of 16 segments on Raw, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's a lot. Look, I'm going to kind of steer away from OTT for a small bit. We will get back into
I'm only joking.
I go over docs before we
We're
get into
going nowhere,
the actual
apparently.
shows. My God, my God, my God.
You're
You're
back.
back now. You're back.
I'm back. Okay. To the band shows at hand. Am I gone again?
It does it every time. You're like, am I back?
Gone.
And then you're gone.
Am I gone? I'm gone. Am I? Am I back? Yeah, continue on and join back.
Okay, well, it looks like we're dropping down to 2.
Technical difficulties.
Only here on the FiveMarks. A bang bang. Well, my only input to the whole thing was I'm shocked that none of you threw into Finn like weird flex. Like half of Raw. Pfft. Yeah, okay, bro. One thing I want to talk about, and it's nothing to do with wrestling itself. But,
I should have to leave. Sorry.
I would also like to point out to people that not only does this man wrestle, but for one video only, he became a TikTok sensation.
That's true. That is true. So if people don't know, across TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, and Twitter, or X, excuse me.
Get it right.
I've amassed about 150,000 views on one of my videos of me being at a Taylor Swift concert, acknowledging my tribal chief, Roman Reigns, not Solo Sikoa. And yeah, it just went pretty, not viral, but it's the best video I've ever done in my 10 plus years or 9 years of video editing and social media posting. That is the only video where I've gotten over 100,000 views where it's me in the video. So yeah, it was really cool. Even though nobody cared about me in the video, it was just Roman Reigns and the GOAT acknowledger, Taylor Swift, you know.
But you know what made me laugh the most at all of it was it's the fact that even here a year ago you sat here giving out to Cian Noonan about making a very simple video and how all his videos blow up because they're super simple. Made a super simple video and it blew up. He's just it's copping onto his head now. It's like, oh, all these years I did.
Why'd you have to expose me like that? Didn't even think about that. Right, time to get like whole like
Oh, he's gone shoot mode again.
No, not shoot mode. Well, I'm always in shoot mode. To get like deep and depressing and
Okay.
I've just I've kind of copped on and just like, right, some of the content that's been put out in Irish wrestling and on social media before is just complete and utter dog shit, terrible ass poo poo. But it still gets an audience. I think I'm a decent editor. I think I'm a decent performer, and I can be engaging. So I kind of needed to let go of this whole, like, it needs to be perfect or I need to like what I'm putting out. Not that I need to put out like just complete dog shit, but sometimes my personality is enough. Just as sometimes it's enough for Cian Noonan to do a big flip and get followed by a million people, you know? And I've grown now to realize like it doesn't. I even saw a video today about why you should post just everything. 10 years time, if I get signed to WWE or AEW, people have 10 years of content, good and bad, to look back through and to talk about me and to have a discussion about me and make me relevant, you know? So if I'm not putting out that Taylor Swift video, if I'm not putting out another video that did really well for engagement was a video I did about my controversial wrestling opinions. Yes. And that has some of the, I think, bar the Taylor Swift video, has my most amount of comments on it, which is important on TikTok and Instagram. So I've been trying to be myself a bit more and allow myself to be seen a bit more. It's a weird like duality that I kind of have to fight a lot, where I kind of have to. I typically stop myself from revealing too much of myself because A, I'm afraid of being ridiculed, and then B, I'm afraid of people knowing who I am, but like nobody can truly know who I am. And so I kind of have been getting a lot better at just creating something and letting go. I get into the trap of like holding on to it and thinking like this is mine, whether it's a wrestling match, whether it's a promo, whether it's a fucking Taylor Swift TikTok. I hold on to it and it becomes my baby, and I can't let anybody like take it away from me. So I've kind of just, for my own mental health and for the sake of my content and where I want to be in my growth, I just need to let it go. I need to create it and let it go. Whatever people think of the content that I make, that is their opinion. I can't change it, nor would I want to change it. I've also like doubled down, like if I like something, that is the most important thing. It does not matter if I get ridiculed by other people for it. Like I've gotten like criticism, like weird criticism for that Taylor Swift video, but I also have people come up to me going, your TikTok came up for me like the other day, and like, oh, my girlfriend saw your TikTok, and I was like, oh, that's Boots. Oh, that's like that. So yeah, I've just finally come to terms with, I love making content, and the content is no good just sitting there. So if you release a video and it's completely negative, it doesn't matter. It's there to garner a reaction, and it's their reaction, not yours. So yeah, that's my didn't you think you expect that from a little you made a Taylor Swift video? But yeah, that was one of the things where the reason I made that video. I saw other people doing the trend. It was very, very popular at that time. It still is a popular trend. And so I was like, fuck it. Like, I'm young. Let me just film this fucking video. And it did the best. And I still get people talking about it. So
exactly, it worked. And any reaction is good reaction. As long as it's not super, super bad in terms of like cancel reaction.
Yes, exactly.
Good.
Yeah, like I don't think I have any radical fucking opinions on anything outside of wrestling. So like I'm good, you know.
That's a lie. You said Carmo does not look good in that fucking Hawaiian like apple fresh hat, whatever the fuck they're called.
I said never to bring that back up.
Carmo, you wanted to ask about Hard Knocks.
I'm just gonna leave. I hope you can hear me now.
We can do it.
We can.
I'm gonna have this one fixed for next year. But yeah, no, question I was gonna ask was before we get into kind of main show Hard Knocks, you competed a lot at like the Black Rabbit shows, the kind of pub shows. The Limerick Race Day, I believe, was another one which had like 2,500 people.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. What was it like? What's it like? Kind of competing at those shows and kind of wrestling in front of a different crowd.
Honestly, they're just kid shows, but with drunk adults. It honestly is not different. And if somebody tries to tell you otherwise, they are an indie smart mark wrestler turned wrestler. Like they do not understand wrestling. And I had a match at one of those with a guy, and it was more on the indie side, and he got no fucking reaction. So yeah, fucking, it's just a kid show. So you grab them, you go, will I punch them? And they go, yeah,
grab his dick and twist it.
Yeah, like they're like just a bunch of children. The kids in Finglas were chanting, or Sheriff Street were chanting the exact same things as the kids or as the adults in the Black Rabbit. They're both the exact same audience.
There's one story I'm hoping that you remember, and it was a perfect shot.
Yeah,
with a water bottle.
Hell yeah! What did I do exactly? Did I just like fuck it at you?
So you came out, and first you decided to specifically go look at us and spit water out at us.
Yeah.
So then you cut your promo. I don't even remember what the promo was about. And
it was a good promo.
And for some reason, decided to get the water bottle that's now empty because he was chucking water at people.
Mm-hmm.
Threw it. It bounced off Emmett's head. It ricocheted, bounced off my head, and then hit the floor.
Hell yeah. What a shot. And I'm blind as well, so like I got a twofer there. Very happy with that. Very happy with my performance that night. I was very
fuck the match.
Yeah, like the match was fine. Like it was an okay match. The only thing I remember, like there's three things I remember from that: spit my water on everybody and hitting you in the head with that bottle. Then not wearing knee pads for the first time on the show, and I was like, I'm never doing that again. That looked weird. And then there was a guy who you guys were there for the one in February in Limerick. What was the name of that? The where I wrestled Steve Savage.
What's
the name of that pub? What's the name of that? Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Thank you. So there was a guy there, and like 3 times went up to him and put my fingers in his Guinness, and I just in his Guinness, and he still drank it. Fair fucks to him. But at the first Black Rabbit show, I saw him again, and I'm blind as a bat. So I still was able to recognize him, and he held his Guinness in the exact same way. And like anytime he saw me, he was like covering his Guinness, whatever. But there's one moment where I snuck. I can't remember exactly what I did, but I somehow snuck my fingers into his Guinness again and to his face. I find the weirdest shit like to be most proud of, and that is something I'm extremely proud of, is being able to just,
It's also fun getting people involved, like.
Yeah,
especially like,
sorry. I also tried to steal Galacini's brother's phone.
You did, that's right. Didn't they call him or something? And you went to grab the phone.
Yeah.
And this is all the stuff that you guys are missing at the house shows, especially that I remember that first one, and we were. It was a fucking terrible setup in terms of we were up against this wall with the ring right beside us. And like 10% of the match was spent with you just shouting at me saying how shit the podcast is.
Did I?
Your podcast is shit. Fuck the FiveMarks. But you're like, who are you against again? Was it
Zhao Zhang?
Was it? You had him like in the corner there, so like you do a boot. Your podcast is shit. Fuck the FiveMarks. You're Dick Martin. It's all the fun stuff that you guys are missing at these house shows.
I don't remember that. That was great. Fair fucks to me.
As well, you came up with a different song as well with that first one.
I didn't know. So I wanted to, but they only had these boots are made for walking, and so I came out as a big baby face, and then I
fuck you guys.
Became a bad guy.
Do you want to transition then, Carmo, into the main show?
I was actually going to go back to OTT for a quick second, because I wanted to talk about a match that you had at SmackDown. A match that I really thought was quite good, and I love the character that you were up against.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's changed back now.
Yeah.
But Con shocked. It's fair to say you beat the shock out of him.
Hey, there you go. I like that match as well. It was a bit awkward. It's the first time, so there was a split in the crowd where all since Khan is like a fantastic wrestler and I absolutely adore working him, um, and everybody can just tell he's fantastic. Um, all the OTT faithful and all the smart fans, they kind of were like, "Yay, Khan! Oh, we like Khan." Or all the Trent Seven fans, they were like, "Yay, Khan!" And then they would boo me in turn, um, because he wasn't established, and this was the very first time a crowd was seeing this character. But then the other split was all the kids and their parents being like, "Oh yeah, the big hairy lad, go on." So it was a very like I've never felt now, not that I was like awkward, but I've never felt as awkward than that match. Like I've never had, even when something goes wrong in a match, I'm very confident in um changing the scenario and kind of becoming more getting it back and not letting it slide. But for that match, it was so weird. It was just a weird atmosphere. Excuse me. It was just a weird atmosphere. I'd love to be able to do that match again, even though it's not really possible anymore. But we only had that match only got announced on the Friday and the show was on the Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. And so we had 2 days to build it. And me and Con, like if you go back through our social medias, at that point we were doing everything in our power to kind of, with the 48 hours that we had, we even filmed a promo on the Saturday before that didn't go out, but like we tried our best to kind of get that feud over and not feud, but like that match have some story or intrigue. And obviously not every fan there is going to watch every bit of social media. So yeah, it could have been better, but again, I love working Con, so if Joe comes up to me and is like, "You're working Con," I will take that every single day. He's fantastic.
I think he's one of the people that you've probably worked the most with this year, especially in OTT. I think you've had 3 or 4 matches this year against each other.
Yeah. Definitely 3 anyway this year. And I worked him about 2 or 3 times last year. Oh no, yeah, 4. Worked him 4 times.
Yeah.
This year alone. He's probably up there with my most wrestled people. I actually have a list. I don't think I've taken it updated since I've come back.
I'd be updating
give me
this.
one
You gotta do that book like Chris Jericho. Every match you had ever.
Yeah, a lot of the lads do, to be honest with you. Like Keen Noonan's like near, or Josh. It's either Keen or Josh are near their 100th match. And yeah, it's just fucking mental that they just have all their matches like cataloged. Yeah, so Con, I'd say it was about, so my top 5, starting from the least amount of matches, that's actually gone up as well, is Big Bad Dirty Nicky. I've had 4 matches with him now. Matthew Bullet Smith and Scotty Davis, I've had 4 matches each with as well. Omari and Con were joint at 5, but Omari's now number 3. I've now had 6 or 7 matches with Con. So Con matches Josh and Renzo. And then number 1 is Jay at 7 matches. I've wrestled him 7 times. So yeah, no, Con, I would love nothing more to just work him constantly, you know.
Well, next time, if it's coming up very recently, you'll probably need some help because he's got some fucking hounds with him at the moment. So I wouldn't go looking for it too soon.
Too soon, yeah. In due time.
In due time.
Once they have more tape on them, I can study, find out their weaknesses. Yeah.
Is there something else you want to throw in there, Carmo?
Yeah, I kind of want to go back to Hard Knocks now because I think this is where kind of that kind of bit of the story kind of heads in. So we get to Hard Luck. where you go up against Terry Thatcher in my opinion, one of the matches of the year that we've seen this year. Just an absolutely incredible match. But for you, I believe it was was it your first time wrestling Terry Thatcher?
That was my very first time, yeah.
Yeah. What was it like for you when you heard that announcement and tried to get that match and to get that match with Terry Thatcher? Because I know for us it was a dream match that we all wanted to see.
Yeah, I found out like 2 weeks beforehand, maybe like a day or two before it got announced. He was just one of the guys that like kept slipping by that I wanted to work, but it wasn't feasible. Not even tagging with, like we didn't cross paths. Yeah, I got really, really excited. I knew like going into it, I was like, oh, this is going to be like one of my most indie matches. And to be fair, it's actually not. I've watched it back recently. It's not too indie, but in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, we did so many indie moves. But it's a really well paced match, and one that I really, really enjoy going back and like thinking about how it felt in the moment. And yeah, just that moment where like I catch Terry and give him a powerbomb. But I catch him and I just hold him there for a second, and the whole audience is like, "Oh
shit!"
And then I give him a powerbomb, and then
boom.
Yeah, that moment I'm like, oh, that fucking gives me butterflies. Yeah, it's probably my overall best match. It's either that or my match with Sam. Are my best matches in my opinion. I think there's another match that like would have been the best match, but things happened. But that match with Terry, I think it was my first time. I know I'm a really good wrestler, and I know I have a lot of people who are invested in me, but that was my first match where I was given time to tell a story with another guy who's an excellent wrestler and give the audience a match where they could care and they could be on this roller coaster. And like, I think it just proves that I can do it. Just give me the opportunity. And that's basically, for me, my biggest fucking downfall is I've not been given opportunities. And it's going to sound entitled or whatever, but like, I'm just fantastic at wrestling and I just need more opportunities. Not that nobody else is fantastic. It's just I know I can tap into something that not a lot of people do. I can drag people into one of my matches more than a lot of other lads can. And if I'm just given an opportunity, I can prove it night and day. Yeah. But I love that match.
I think one good thing that you guys had going into it, and it's like the contrast to you versus Con was there was, in a way, some sort of story. With all the qualifiers, I felt. Like with your one with Terry, it was two former Hard Knocks champions that are looking to climb their way back to where they were. So I feel like with the crowd engagement, that helped massively. Like I praise Hard Luck Volume 2 with being one of the best kind of put together cards Hard Knocks have done. After that, then I think is it the Gauntlet up next, Carmo?
In Hard Knocks, yes, but I was actually going to go back to OTT, which was Sanity, where again you fought Terry Thatcher. But unfortunately, the match didn't end.
Had to bring it up. Like, we had a lovely interview here.
Yeah.
Who told you go out there and break a leg?
Somebody.
No, you're blaming me for asking the question. That's warped.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, that's another match that like I'm more disappointed that we couldn't get to that ending stretch. I hate peeling back the curtain as much, but like I'm going to, because I think it kind of makes this more disappointing. The match up until that point where I break my ankle is good. It's not great. It's good. But we were given 12 minutes, and at the point that I break my leg, I think we're at like 5 minutes left. So like that's a 6 minute match. That's pretty good. That people are kind of invested in, and you've just seen this big fuck off moonsault, and we're about to go into the end stretch of this match that was fucking going to be pretty sick in my opinion. And I feel like we could have whipped them up into a frenzy, and that's probably the most disappointing part of the match for me. Is I knew it was going to top my first match with Terry, but it was just kind of robbed from us. Yeah, I honestly, and you know what's weird? I can watch that match back and still enjoy it, and still see like little things I did well and things I did wrong, of course. But yeah, I'm just very, very pleased that like I don't know, I feel like I'm not butthurt about it as much. That's not really true. I am kind of butthurt about it, but
Not as much as you thought you would be.
yeah, like butthurt for other reasons. It's not like, oh, I broke my ankle. There's factors outside of that I'm more annoyed about, that piss me off more. So like I can watch myself break my ankle a million times over. Like when I was in the hospital, people sent it to me, and I was watching like my ankle like just goes like that. That goes like that, and it goes back. Luckily it was a very clean break, and I didn't put like any pressure on it after I broke it. And again, peel back the curtain more. You can see in it, in the footage, that I said to Terry, just roll me and give me the elbow, go home. Like we have another 6 minutes of a match to wrestle. I was like, I'm not fucking doing it. There's no fucking way. I have to jump at one point. I can't jump with one fucking foot. So yeah, just we rolled back in, gave me the elbow, went home. Still proud of myself. I was able to walk out by myself. Probably a stupid thing to do, but you know, I fucking did it. I think a lot of people thought I got knocked out as well, because like Terry's like in the footage.
Thump.
Yeah. That's just like from my arse hitting the floor. I thought I might have knocked Terry out as well, because my knee goes like right into his face, so that's why he's bleeding afterwards. Yeah, no. Yeah, it's weird. I can't watch anybody else break their ankles or do whatever, break a bone, but if you stick on me breaking my own ankle, I'm like, whew, play it back.
Have you kind of like pieced out like what happened? Was it just your foot just didn't go, or?
I was too far out, and I tried making the distance. And so when he hits me, because he's a very small man, but he still like comes down with a lot of force. So when I catch him, my left foot isn't planted. So I'm kind of in a like forward stride. My foot's not really planted. The momentum goes down. Realistically, I should have grabbed him like this and followed him down like that, sort of, you know, like not necessarily like I just went straight down. So like where my foot wasn't planted, it just went under me, and like I knew like as soon as it snapped, I was like, yeah, it's broke. Like it's such like a surreal like feeling. Have any of you broken a bone?
Nope.
Never know.
Touch wood.
No. So that was my third bone that I've broken. I've broken both of my pinkies. Both times I didn't know until like after I got the X-ray that I had broken them. They like swollen to balloons. But for that one, it just went, and I was like, yeah, that's broke. It's fucking gone. Like I, louder than anything on the fucking planet, I heard and felt it, just the snap. Like it just went, and I was like, it's gone. And I turned to Joy, and I'm like, my ankle's gone. It's fucked. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's broke. Just hit me the elbow, go home. It's mad as well. Like, I don't know if you guys have watched it back, but like, there's a moment where he's like leaning against me and he throws up the X, and then it's a weird thing to like, because of me, the X went up. But yeah, it's just completely bad luck. It wasn't anybody's particular fault, you know.
It was just something that happened. It happened. The one I know you were like saying, I was stupid for doing this, but just the fact that you had finished, you had done a moment of like stare in the ring, shake the hands, and then hopped back. You still did that completely blank face.
Adrenaline, man. Adrenaline. It's a mad, like, the human body is fantastic. Not only was my bone able to heal itself, it also fucking, when it snapped, I was just full of adrenaline, and I could have done a bittersweet Josh and wrestled, like, but I wasn't going to do that. All the love to Josh.
No, fuck him.
That is like one of the nastiest things. I don't think my ankle would have like been because it wasn't as bad as Josh's. But it snapped. I knew it was gone. I was like, fuck it. Like, I don't have like rods in my leg now. So that's because I wasn't being silly, and I just kind of knew like it's time. And that's why, like, realistically, if I went by doctor's orders, it'd be next week that I would be possibly returning into the ring. Like, I was given 3 months from when the boot came off. So I was in the boot for 6 weeks, boot in the boot. Let's get that over systems. But I was in the boot for 6 weeks, and from that point on, it was 3 months recovery to getting back in the ring, and I did it in 3 weeks, you know? And that's because I made the decision to end the match there and just go. Just like be safe rather than sorry. And I think I made the right decision. It was a tough 6 weeks and a tough 3 weeks to get back to training. So
I'm just going to segue before Carmel continues on into wrestling, because while you were in the boot, I was on TikTok and socials at the time, and I seen this thing about a one person protest. The person looked oddly like you, and I don't know, but what was it like doing that little comedy skit with Shane?
That was fantastic. It was a lot of fun. We did two. I did two that day. There was like 3 or 4 filmed. The first one we did was traffic laws if they apply to pedestrians. And so I was just like walking around in the background. There wasn't anything. Shane says a very funny joke to me in that, where he's like, oh, do you have your insurance? And blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, no, I don't. He goes, right, pop the boot. Let's have a look. Which I thought was very funny. And then it was the protester sketch. Oh my god. So the woman that I was in that sketch with alongside Shane is hilarious. Her name is slipping my mind right now, but she's fantastic. And there's a point where in the video she's asking like, oh, would you have a spice bag on a night out?
The kebab and stuff.
Yeah. We had to film that like 5 or 6 times, because she would just like get like this close to me, go, what about a spice bag? And I would be like, just corpsing the whole fucking time. It was so funny. I felt so bad. Shane, like, he's amazing. He's fingers in so many pies, and he's just a fantastic talent. And he just stood there, cool as a cucumber. I can never do comedy. I would laugh too much. Like, to go back a little bit, the Limerick Races show that we did, I wrestled Robbie Mack, and we took turns getting up onto the second rope, and every time I go up, without even like really being a bad guy, they would just go, oh, fat bastard, you fat bastard, you fat bastard, or whatever the fuck they would chant to me. And the whole time I'm there, like I'm like, shut up. Like, it's so fucking funny. And then like as well doing kid shows, and they're like coming over and like screaming at you, and I'm just having to be like, shut up. It's so hard not to laugh. But yeah, that whole sketch thing was great, and I'd love to do it again. It was a lot of fun.
Transition back to you, Caramel.
Yeah, I believe this is your first match back, which was Race to the Top.
Yes.
After the injury, yeah. And when I say the name, Martin, I want you to do the catchphrase. You went up against Nathan Black.
Look at the goddamn size of me.
Yeah.
And CJ West. What was that like? What was that like? I suppose finally back into the ring and like working with CJ West and Nathan Black.
I'm my own worst critic. It was so depressing, I guess. Because I'd been given like a to me was like a death sentence. And then I fought and came back, and then I just kind of had a really, really shit match. And that was a whole like, should I be doing this kind of moment? It just wasn't great. Nobody's fault really. We're just, yeah. There's really good elements of it. Nathan Black is a great promo, and CJ West, big fuck off peacock. No. Just we didn't gel very well. So it happens. It was the next day that I kind of like, oh fuck, this is what I'm meant to do. This is great. I literally watched the 6-man tag I had the next day again last night, and it's one of my best matches. It's fantastic.
Where did that 3-way happen? That happened OTT?
Yeah, it was Race to the Top. Yeah. That was my first match back.
I don't think
Nathan
it was
Black
recorded.
was an
Was
OTT, and I fucking missed this.
Yeah.
I don't believe it was recorded, but I could be wrong.
No, it wasn't.
I have a recording, but that's for my own.
It's mine.
Man, I'll give it to you. €10. But the next day, I had a 6-man tag. It was me, Keen, and Young Dara, who is fucking fantastic. If you haven't seen Young Dara yet,
yeah, indeed, yeah,
he's fantastic. One of the best like up and comers. He just another lad that just gets wrestling and has only been training a year and a half and has already been on shows. Fantastic. Fantastic. It was us three against the old Irish Wolfhounds and Scotty Davis.
Did I not warn you about them not 15
I know, but this is their second match ever as a trio.
That's fair.
You have to cut me some slack. I didn't know.
Okay, it's fair.
But it was a really, really good match, and I look back on that extremely fondly. It's fantastic.
Another match that I kind of wanted to get into, this kind of in the series, which was from Terry Thatcher, in a little bit of an unlucky kind of a string where you teamed with Terry Thatcher to once again go up against the Irish Wolfhounds, Con Kelly and Luke Farrell. Yeah. Everything was kind of going well, and then unfortunately Terry got, I think he got knocked out, wasn't it? He got knocked out.
Cold, yeah. It was very unfortunate. I don't know. I can kind of tell, but there's a moment after he's knocked out, and I'm about to get into the ring, and I'm like, right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to clothesline, Con, throw him out, blah blah blah. Do this. I can finish this match by myself. And then as soon as I'm like, right, go, Foxy's like, ring the bell. I mentioned earlier on there was a match that was going to be great and then wasn't for many reasons. Man, selfishly, I wish that match didn't happen the way it did. It was going to be my best match. The crowd were like, I had a bit of a story and they were hooking onto it and they were there, and like they were reacting to everything up until the point that we wanted them to react to, and it was, oh my god, I can't not watch it and just feel extremely disappointed. And again, it's nobody's fault. Shit happens. It's wrestling, and it's life. But I was really like, we are only 20% of that match, probably even less, like 10% of that match was done before we had to call the bell. And thankfully, like at the end of the day, the most important part of all this is Terry Thatcher is fine. Like he was concussed, but he's not had any permanent ramifications from that. And just very very grateful that he's okay, and that he's still able to wrestle. So hopefully we see him back soon.
I'm going to throw it back to you, Martin, to talk about Hard Knocks.
I don't want to talk about wrestling. We're not here to talk about wrestling. Yes, Hard Knocks. So obviously you were involved in I'm calling it the All-Ireland Gauntlet, right? The All-Ireland Gauntlet with yourself, Galaccini, CJ West, Ryan O'Connor, and CBL, with the winner getting a shot at Renzo. The best way to put this is came in hot, and it just slipped. It didn't slip. It leaped.
Yes, it did. Overzealous is probably the word of the night. That night, I can't win them all. I was a bit angry. I was a bit angry. I got my rematch for the All Ireland Championship a couple months before, but I was cheated out of that again. So it was just kind of frustrating that we had this whole gauntlet for Galaccini, who was a tag wrestler who was trying to become number one contender for tag belts, and then is now suddenly first in line to get a title shot against Renzo, even though he's had to cheat not only to take the belt off of me, but also keep the belt on himself. So, I was pissed off, and I think I let my emotions kind of get the better of me. Still feel kind of justified in it though. Like, all the praise to Galaccini. He pulled out a miracle, a Limerick miracle, and
a miracle
honestly,
on Dock Road. Will kill us for not saying it. A miracle on Dock Road.
Miracle on Dock Road. But one of the moments of the year, if not in OTT, in Hard Knocks, probably ever for Hard Knocks, Galaccini deserves to be champion at some point. Maybe not right now. I don't feel like he's earned it. I'd like to put the challenge forward, but if not him, it has to be another belt in Hard Knocks. I don't think me coming out there and sometimes getting a louder reaction than Galaccini, is a testament to kind of like how popular and how into me the fans actually are. And the fact that I've not had a main show championship match for the Hard Knocks World Championship, I think is it's annoying. I have all the faith in Steve and Hard Knocks management, but I would like some reward. I would like I said before, an opportunity to prove myself. Just put the belt on the line. The Hardcore Championship, All Ireland Championship, the tag belts, the World Championship, whatever it is. Heck, even the Women's Championship, put on the line against me. I will win. I'm not the same Boots Murphy anymore that is going to go around and just kiss babies and shake hands. I'm going to smack you in the mouth. So if you think that you can defend your belt against me and you have the utmost confidence in yourself, then prove it. Just prove it. Put the belt on the line. step into a Hard Knocks ring with me, put the belt on the line. I'm going to smack you in the mouth. I'm going to drive you through the mat, and I'm going to take your belt and your confidence. So, challenge is there, boys. Who's stepping up?
100%.
There's a lot of.
I'm talking.
All right.
I think it's massively deserved. I've said this a lot. That I think a decision was completely wrong, but I think it is very much earned that you get your one-on-one rematch first. I do believe that, but also that you get to step up a bit. Go back to the early days of Hard Knocks. Go back to, you did a fucking promo on an opener for a show, and you still had one of the louder reactions. The Hard Knocks crowd cheered the living shit out of you. And
it's not just the Hard Knocks crowd, though.
It's Irish crowd.
It's the Irish crowd, yeah. It's the Irish wrestling fans. Like, they recognize how good I am, and I get some of the biggest reactions of the night. I think the only people that really don't like me are the guys that love flippy dippy shit. And because I can't, well, fucking not that I can't, because I don't provide that for certain people, they might view me lesser, even though I'm probably the most talented pro wrestler on the island. And how I can prove that and show you physically and statistically that I'm one of the best is the fact that I've never had a singles OTT championship match. Like, I've never wrestled for a belt outside of a 5-man once last year. I've had one championship win in Hard Knocks, which I'm very grateful for and thankful for, and is amazing, but it got taken away from me. It was stolen from me essentially by Renzo. All these factors. I've never had a big import. I wrestled Damo in Wexford last year. That's probably the biggest import that I've had. I've never had a big high profile match. Never had all these things that have been given to other people, and yet I'm still significantly more popular than a lot of lads. It's I don't know where the proof is in the pudding. I'm genuinely who has had as little opportunity as me and still as popular as me? Nobody. As soon as I go out, thank you. As soon as I go out through that curtain, people know who I am. I get it pop. I get people chanting boots. I don't even have to ask for it. People just do it. I have people wearing my merch, and my merch isn't even at shows. I still have people wearing my merch. Not a lot, but I still have a lot of people wearing my merch. I don't think there's a single person on this island with as little opportunity as me who has done more than me. People have had their big matches and they get the golf claps, and they're like, yeah, since you've been with this other person who I already hold up to this level, you're slightly closer to that level because this person told me that you're getting to this level. Nobody's said that about me. I've never been in a match with somebody where they've been like, you are, super, super good, and you're going to be up here one day, even though you're down here. You're going to be up here one day, and nobody's ever done that for me. And yet, I step out through that curtain, boots, 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 all over the goddamn country. So, yeah, I'm an asshole. I'm a charming asshole, but I am an asshole nonetheless. I deserve to have more opportunities in Irish wrestling. Hands down. There's not one single person who gets the reaction that I do with as little backing from a company than me. That's just it.
And he's got one hell of a fucking spine buster.
Oh yeah, I do. Did you see the one I hit on Nikki on Sunday? Oh, I have to slow that shit down.
The most beautiful spine buster in Irish wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Carmo, is there anything else you want to throw in?
I'm kind of conscious on time, so I'm going to go for that age-old credit question of what are the goals for 2025 for Boots Murphy?
So there's goals for Nathan Murphy and Boots Murphy for 2025. Obviously the Nathan Murphy ones are more personal, but from the Nathan Murphy side, it is getting my name out there as much as possible. Starting in January, I'm going to be having a content schedule. So I haven't decided on however many days, but 2 to 3 times a week there will be content all across all my social media platforms. And then also there will be hopefully, and I'm putting this out here so however many people see this, like they can hold me accountable. This year I will have a big personal project released publicly. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, but it will be put out. It's something I'm extremely passionate about, and I'm really, really looking forward to starting to tease it and starting to finish it. And it's going to be probably the most left field thing that I do. But if you like pole dancing, just stick around.
What?
Love it.
Okay.
No, it's not pole dancing. It's not pole dancing.
No, you've got me interested now.
Wait a little bit hears about this.
No, so I do have a project in the works right now. It's about 20% complete. So that'll be out hopefully during the ending months of the summer, like June, July, August, around there. And then for Boots Murphy, it's getting to England. I've kind of last year on your podcast, I said that I wanted to have my first match outside of Ireland, in England, more so, by the end of this year. It's not looking like it's going to be likely, but I'm giving myself a bit of leeway because I did break my fucking ankle, so I can give myself a bit of time, to start getting my name out there. So currently doing a college course. So once that is complete, then it's going to be going to every school that I can possibly go to that is either in America, in Ireland, in fucking England, wherever. Get my name out there as much as possible. Get Boots Murphy merch made. And then honestly, I've kind of feel it in my bones, and I'm starting to become a lot more confident in myself. And this year, like 2025, I mean, I'm not letting people forget about me. I'm not letting a stadium show go by without me being on it. I'm not going to settle for being the second man out in a gauntlet. I'm sick and tired of people complaining about Irish wrestling and then not improving. I'm constantly improving. I'm going to be a fixture on every show that I could possibly be on. I'm just sick and tired of being on the sidelines and having everybody complain about the product. When I'm on the product, nobody complains. Well, few people do, but fuck them. You complain?
All the time.
Oh, buddy. That's fair. Okay, I take everything back. I'm quitting.
That's not only about you. He complains about everything.
I complain about everything. Mostly karma, but continue.
But yeah, so 2025, I'm starting to. Sorry, I just got. All right, never mind. I just got a notification. Yeah, 2025. I'm not sitting on the sidelines anymore. I'm too good to sit on the sidelines. I'm going to be okay with being more narcissistic, and I'm going to just put myself out there as best as I possibly can and just be a good fucking wrestler. That's 2025 for Boots Murphy and Nathan Murphy.
Love it. Yeah, love
Time
it.
to start
Absolutely.
taking your fucking spot. But before, obviously, we start wrapping up and stuff, you mentioned merch there, but there is some bit of merch out there and available at the moment. Where
There
can
is.
you find that?
If you go onto a random bootleg website, one of my designs is on there, which is an honor to have my t-shirt already bootlegged. But it'll be Redbubble. I think it's redbubble.com/BigBootsMurphy. If you just look up Redbubble Big Boots Murphy,
you can find it.
You'll be able to find it there, yeah. And get yourself a bunch of different types of merch. No other wrestler has.
Big logo, small logo.
Yeah.
Boots. What I like about it as well is you can kind of customize it to your own needs. Like you can get any color T-shirt, anything. Like it's really cool. I like that.
Yeah. And there's some color combinations that I didn't think would look nice, and they actually do look pretty nice. It's quite cool.
So get your Big Boots Murphy merch right now. Where else can people find you?
So you can find me across all social media platforms under Big Boots Murphy or Boots Murphy. Mainly my TikTok and my Instagram. That's where I post most regularly. And yeah, just YouTube as well and Twitch. They'll be more sporadic, but if you want longer form content, twitch.tv/Boots Murphy, I believe, and then Big Boots Murphy on YouTube. So
all links will be down below anyway in the video.
And watch for 2025 because this man's going to stop sitting on the fucking sidelines and start standing in the fucking middle of that ring.
Hell yeah, brother.
I want to put it out there now. 2025 might be the year of the boots.
Hell yeah, brother.
But you can find those. You can find those FiveMarks Pod on X and TikTok. FiveMarks Podcast everywhere else. Carmo, any lasting words? This is the last outro for 2024, so you better do this right.
It is. Happy Christmas, everybody, and Happy New Year. Can't wait to see you all next year for some podcasts and wrestling and stuff like that. All the good stuff. Boots, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure as always. We will see you this time next year again on the podcast, if not sooner, maybe. But ladies and gentlemen, we've been the FiveMarks Podcast, and for another year, we are ding, ding, dong.
Yeah. Boots!